Hey everyone, it's Darkstar, and welcome to the first of many in a series called My Real Blackjack Life. What we're looking at here is New York Casino in Las Vegas, where I've played many times. But we're not going to be playing there. I'm not going to be playing there much in the future. In fact, most of the time, the casinos that I play at don't look too much like this. I do play in Vegas once in a while, but most of the time I play at places similar to this beautiful place right here. Yes, the Ojibwa Casino. This glorious resort features not just blackjack, but also slot machines, and as you can see, it has a hotel, restaurant, bowling, and bingo. Quite a place indeed. So that's the kind of places you're going to see me at in this new series. Now, I know you might not think that that's as exciting as Las Vegas, but like I said, this is my real blackjack life. So this is not going to be what you see in the movies. This is going to be how it really is. Okay? And this is going to be full disclosure this time. Okay? I'm not going to be hiding the numbers anymore. You've seen me put up this chart many times of my performance, but now I'm going to go ahead and leave the numbers in.
I keep excellent records of everything. Every win, every loss, all my expenses, everything. But out of everything that I've created, all the spreadsheets that I use and everything, this chart is the best thing that I've done in regards to record keeping, because it reminds me of how the math rules. Okay? When you see this big win here, and it kept running up, right? That's my actual results. That's the actual value. That's the actual increase in my bankroll. So starting zero is the starting bankroll at the beginning of the year. Not actually $0. I had something to invest, obviously, but that's where the bankroll started. And then as I make profits, the bankroll grows, theoretically, okay, on paper at least. Obviously, I take some money out for household expenses, make my car payment, mortgage, all the rest of that. But theoretically, this is what the bankroll is doing if I didn't take anything out. And also, while I do keep track of expenses, this does not keep track of expenses, because the purpose of this chart is to compare my actual results to what the computer model or the math would predict. Okay, so when I'm way up here, I need to realize that this is where I should be, and that there's a very good chance that I will have a losing streak that will bring me back down to that. Likewise, if I was below the line by that much, I could trust in the math that the results would come back up to here. So I should have been more prepared for the downswing, and I shouldn't have been spending a lot of money. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. When I got up here, I started feeling pretty good and started spending a lot of money, buying new stuff for the house, took 2 vacations over the summer, things like that. Well, inevitably, just as I knew, it came back down to earth, right back to the expected value. And it stayed pretty close to that for a while, even dipped below it, and then had a nice run again and started feeling pretty good. And now, as you see, we've had this pretty long slide here. Okay? It's not terrible. Okay? Still doing just fine on paper. However, the reality is I've continued to spend way too much money in my personal life, and maybe even a little bit too much money in the business as well. So I need to tighten up at home and tighten up at work. And in order to tighten up at work, I'm going to be taking a lot more trips closer to home, not so much overnight travel. Not going to be flying to places like what you saw in the first slide. Going to be on the road, driving, and trying to stay as close to home as possible to minimize expenses. The other thing that I like about this chart is not only does it prove that the math works, there's also a check on my skill level. Okay, because if I was making a lot of mistakes, then you would expect that it would not stay close to the expected line. It would be below the expected line. Okay? You can only get lucky for so long. All right, but it's been about 10 months now, and I play an average of 30 hours a week. 30 hours a week for 10 months, it would not be this close to the expected value if I was making a lot of mistakes, and I certainly wouldn't have had a profit of about $15,000 right now on the year. Okay? So, and you can see why with only $15,000 in total gross profit, and then of course expenses have to come out of there, why I don't have that much money, because I've had to take money out for living expenses. Okay? There is another source of income in the house, all right? My wife does work as well, but her income does not cover all of the expenses. I have to pick up some of it from my blackjack business. Okay, I had a regular job before this, and she expects that blackjack will provide at least as much or close to as much as my old job did. Okay, she believes in the math too, and she knows this is going to work in the future, so I don't get really any pushback from her. She's incredibly supportive, I should say that. So here we are. What this has caused me to do now is say, okay, I need to keep my risk of ruin at 2% or less. I don't have 15,000 plus what I started with. I have less than 10,000 in actual cash on hand. Okay, so I've drastically reduced my bets, cut them in half or more depending on the game that I'm playing, and we're going to start to build that back up again. I'm going to try to put in more hours, and I decided to take you along on this ride with me. See what you guys think of this. Put your comments in. Let me know what you think. You're going to see what the real life of a blackjack card counter is like. Not the movie version, but the real life version. First, let's take a look at how I prepare.
All right, so obviously before I get started, I have to practice. So that's what you're looking at here. I'm starting with flashcard drills. Basically what this is doing is making sure that I know my illustrious 18. I know a few more indexes than just the illustrious 18, but I make sure that I've got the illustrious 18 down cold. And I'm not putting any kind of time limit on myself this time, just making sure that I know them. You know, it doesn't really matter how fast I can do it. If I've got to take my time to make a decision on how to play my hand, then I take my time. That doesn't make me look like a card counter necessarily. A lot of people take forever to decide how to play their hand. I've seen people stare at a 10 and a 5 forever and then ask, how much is that? You know, because it's a jack and a 5 and they don't realize that's 15. So, whatever. I don't care how long it takes. What I do care about is that this should be 100% accurate. All right, and then we're also going to practice actually just playing blackjack. And this program here will make sure that I make the proper play decisions as well as bet properly. This is set up for my new betting structure, so you'll get to see a preview of that. This will be exactly how I'll be playing in the casino. And again, I should be able to do this without making any mistakes.
Insurance. Insurance. Dealer has blackjack. Insurance. Insurance.
here's the plan for today. Gonna keep the expenses low. It's gonna be a day trip. Drive for maybe 3 hours. Go to probably 2 casinos that are real close together. And then drive back and try to get in about at least 8 hours actually at the tables. All right. We're going to use a conservative betting strategy. And we've only got $3,000 for this trip. So we'll see what we got when we come back. Where's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. $30 Benjamins, all right? So, the object is to get that to grow. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll win some, maybe we'll lose some. But like I told you, it better grow because we've already reduced our bets. So we need this to start on the upswing now. If not, no problem. We'll live to fight another day. We have more than this in the total bankroll. This is just today's trip bankroll. All right. May the count be with me.
Hazard reported ahead.
Whoever said getting there is half the fun must have went to some pretty dull places. But hey, at least we got good weather. No, seriously, this is good weather for me. Now, I know overcast, a little bit of mist. This is perfect. No sun glaring in my eyes. It's not pouring rain. No snow yet. Gonna be soon. So this is the perfect time of year. It's not hot. There's no bugs smashing on the window. Just a little bit of mist. And so yeah, this is my type of weather to be driving in. But this is the worst part of making a career of playing blackjack or any kind of gambling advantage play. You will be doing a lot of driving or possibly flying. But in my case right now, it's driving because you don't have bankroll. I should have the bankroll, as I've talked about, through a series of unfortunate events and some bad decisions on my part. Bankroll is not what it used to be, despite the fact that I've been making money. Anyway, so we're almost there now, first casino. I don't really want to say exactly where. Some of you will figure it out based on the scenery. That's all right. And might go back and forth between the 2 casinos a little bit, depending on if I see any kind of heat or if I'm concerned about that. Or I might just play till they throw me out, because really, at this point, I don't really care if they throw me out. I have to make as much money as I possibly can, get this bankroll back on course. All right. May the count be with me. I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, so that was the first stop. Didn't go so good. Wonged in to a couple tables. I sat down as soon as it got to a true count of 1. True count of 1, sat down, played, and then once, and then I started the next shoe, but it started out negative, and once it got to a true count of -1, I wonged out, I left. Then and I had something to eat at the buffet. They asked me if I qualified for the senior discount at the buffet. I'm getting older. So at least I don't have to worry about getting carded like some people do. You know, that's how I look older, and I am older, and I look even older than I am. And so nobody ever asks me for ID when I walk into a casino. I know some of you guys that are trying to just start out as card counters and you're in your 20s. I've gotten the question, well, how can you play unrated? How can you play without an ID if they always card you when you walk in the casino? Well, nobody cards me when I walk in the casino or a bar or anything. Unless it's for the senior discount, which I didn't quite qualify for. But anyway, I lost $140 in about 30 minutes of play. And I only played like a shoe and a half. I tried to play more. I might log it as more hours than that because I watched a lot of rounds, but I walked away, you know, when they got to like -2 true count, and I knew there was no chance of it recovering, and I was just back counting, so I would just walk when it got to that, because there's not much hope of it getting better, and then I just look suspicious standing there watching the cards, and then, you know, sit down, and nobody really wants you to play like the last 3 hands, you know, they don't like you to jump in at all, the ploppies, but especially not in the last 3 hands, so, anyway. So I should explain really why I left the first place. Was not getting any heat or anything. It's just that there was only 3 tables really that I would want to play at, and they were all pretty full. There was maybe 1 or 2 spots that I might be able to get into, but the one actually filled up right away. And so with only a couple spots available, and I kept seeing negative counts, just thought I'd hop over here for a while. I'll probably go back there again before I head home for the day. So here we're probably only going to find 2 open tables, kind of a small casino. And so probably I'll just wong out. I'll probably play right from the beginning of the shoe and just wong out, you know, take a bathroom break, whatever, if it gets negative, and we'll see how that goes. All right. May the count be with me. So that was much better. I was in there for quite a while. I have to check. I think, let's see. That was about 5 hours. 5-hour session. No heat, that's the main thing. Actually, the main thing is that I'm up, or I won 1,300, and, well, it should have been 1,350, but I'm a tipaholic, so I have 1,330 because I tipped $10. And I did it in, you know, dollars here and there, you know. I don't have a good reason why I do it. It's not necessarily a great idea to tip, but, you know, keeps the dealers happy. Penetration was pretty good, and if I'm getting good penetration, I tip because a lot of them can figure out that I'm counting, and this particular place, I've been told by a number of dealers that they're told that if they think someone's counting, they're supposed to make the penetration a lot worse, like almost in half, and that didn't happen. So I tend to tip them because maybe they'll, you know, not notice. You know what I mean? I would, you know, I think it's a subjective thing. I don't believe that the dealers actually know how to count. I don't believe that. I also made up for the tips by winning $40 on a slot machine, and yes, I did have an advantage on that machine. I don't play anything where I don't have an advantage. I had a known advantage. Thank you, Michael Shackelford, for that. Yeah. So, 1340, we'll call it. $10 for tips, and then, you know, but the slots covered that, so 1340, and we lost 140 at the other place, I think. I got to check my records, but so we're still up over 1,000, which with this conservative betting scheme that I'm using, that's actually very good. So I'm happy with that because I cut my bets in half, and like I explained earlier in the video, not because I've been losing so much as because I've been spending way too much of my profits. I did have a little bit of a losing streak, and I showed you that as well. But all right, it is still early. It is only 20 minutes to 7. I could play for another 3-4 hours easy. So we're going to go back over to the other casino in town here and see if we can make a little more money. Yes, I feel like I'd like to run out of here with my $1,000 plus profit. That's a good day. $1,000 is a good day for me with this, with these restrictions, with this limited bankroll now. But unless I'm going to quit forever, it doesn't make any sense to quit right now. I'm still wide awake and got plenty of time to play. All right, I'll let you know what happens. All right, so went back to the first place and made a little bit more, 200 or 300. Well, let's just see what I got here total, because honestly, I'm tired. Just got back. It's been a long trip, and so let's just see what we made. I already put this back into, this is 3,000. All right, you just take my word for it on that. That's 3,000, and then so this is, that's what I left with, 3,000. So this is the profit, whatever's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 20, 42, 15, 42. Okay, that's pretty good. I'll take that. That's a good start to the restart.